My name is Nabil. I'm from Kuwait, from Zawaya Gaming. We are an event company that started specializing in esports and gaming late last year. And over the last year or so, this is what I'm going to be talking about, a quick talk outline. Just a brief introduction about what we do. Initially, we started our company in 2014, and last year, around the summer, we decided that it was time to diversify. And we thought esports and gaming would be the best new industry to get into. And that being said, we partnered up with our first client and hit the ground running and started working with our clients and our gamers to deliver the best experience we can to everyone involved. The first topic I'd like to address is, why do players in our regions compete? And everything I'm going to be talking about here is gathered by us through our engagement with our players, with the gamers, the competitors that we've met throughout the last year. And we make it a point to meet and talk to people in our events and in all the tournaments that we organize, to get their feedback, and not just to make their next experience better, but to get more information on how we can make it better. What kind of games do they like to play? Why do they compete? Why do they leave the comfort of their own home to come and join us? And these are here, if you can see, a list of 3 questions that stand out. And mainly, we realize that a lot of these people come in and join us for the prize pool. They're in it for the money, they're in it for the gifts that are going to be given out. And the reason they're in it for that is because it's the most they can get out of competing in esports tournaments in this part of the world. They can't really get much other than that. So we speak to some of them and ask them, what are you looking forward to? What's your next step? Do you want to go pro? What do you have in mind? And they tell us, yes, but how? And how can I do it? Where can I do it? And we realize a lot of them call themselves professional players. And that also takes us to the next point, which is, why do just a few names from this part of the world stand out? We just had last summer, we had MS Dosari, the FIFA E-World Cup winner, who also made it to the finals again this year, and he became a superstar in the Arab world. And a lot of the people that we work with and we talk to want to be the next MS Dosari, and that's just talking about FIFA, and we're not talking about the other games as well. So, why is it a dream for MENA players to compete on the big stage? The main reason for that, we believe, is they don't have the opportunity to be on a big stage in this part of the world, because we don't have the following for a big enough following for esports. We have people who come to compete, and that's pretty much it. We'll get 1,000 registrations, 1,000 people to come and play, and those 1,000 people will be those only 1,000 people there. You won't fill out a stadium, you won't have people come in to watch them play, etc. And that's mainly because of not making it into an entertainment, not adding the entertainment factor into it. And something else we've also realized is, why do people always know a guy who knows a guy who's the first in some game or the other? He's a legend at Hearthstone, he's the best player in Australia when he was studying there, etc. And they all want to be, they all talk to us in the sense of wanting to be there, wanting to participate, wanting to take part in such competitions. The next question is, what do our players get from competing? And what we're trying to, oh, the red is too bright, huh? What we're trying to do here is, we're trying to give players and teams a platform for them to compete, for them to get recognized, for them to become ranked, for them to become part of an ecosystem that is lacking in our part of the world. So, first thing is funds. For a team to become a professional team, they need to be paid to play. The teams that we meet with, who call themselves teams, some of them have websites, some of them have Instagram pages, some of them create their own team jerseys, and they all think they're part of a team, and they are a team, but that's where they stop. They don't know how to go and approach companies for funds. They don't know how to they don't know how to partner with companies to get equipment, to get the necessary means done. So that being said, we realize that most of the professional teams that we see who call themselves teams, who act as teams, are between a specific age group, which is between 18 and 25 years old. And the reason is they are semi-autonomous from their parents' decisions, and they can make their own decisions, they can fund themselves, and they can pay for their time, for their training, they can pay for their jerseys, their equipment, etc. on their own, which goes back to society's acceptance. We have a very big gap in education with the parents of the kids that are now between the ages of 13 and 18. They don't even know what esports is. When I first told my mom that we're starting a new department in the company which handles esports and gaming, it was a half-hour conversation of me explaining what esports is. We need to find a way to educate the parents and the people who are responsible for these gamers about what esports is, how esports can become a career. And there's this academy in Japan called Bantan Academy who implemented this and created a high school out of it, where 4 days a week children go and practice their esports, and the last day of the week they have their normal curriculum. It continues. Why players who do stand a chance never really shine? And this takes us to another part of the conversation, which is the actual training itself and the development of the players. So the coaches usually here, the coaches of the teams that have been established, are usually either a better player in the team or someone who's been playing the game for much longer. They don't have outsiders come in and coach them or become their dedicated coach, dedicated trainer. And something else which is very important is these teams are athletes, and they compete to win. They compete for prize pools. They compete for recognition. And they need mental development. They need the mental stamina to be able to compete and lose or win, and know that they can go on and do it again and again and again. And this also goes back to the social acceptance of, why am I going to have my kids sit with a therapist to develop them mentally? And this is a challenge we face when we speak to some of these players and tell them, guys, we have a mental development coach. As soon as we say the word mental, they stop us right there. They don't want to continue the conversation. If we get the chance to explain what it is, then we'll be able to get their attention, and then they tell us, okay, give me that questionnaire you want me to fill out so I can get the gist of what you're trying to do. And quantifying your training. There are many methods in this day and age where we can properly quantify the training and have the players and have the teams know where their weaknesses are from a statistical standpoint. So we can using eye tracking technology, for example, we can tell a player that you are spending 25% of your time looking at this part of the screen, and if you take 3% of that and put it on this corner over here on a League of Legends game, you can stop attacks coming in from there. That's your weakness. So this kind of technology is what we're also trying to introduce and bring into the region, so we can help develop our competitors, our gamers, because it's all about them. Without the players, without the competitors, you don't have esports. You don't have the entire. It's a very important peg in the puzzle, piece of the puzzle. Sorry. This is from the business side of it. Is gaming currently a trend, and is it going to die out? With our first project, the first project we worked with our client, it was one of the first large gaming and esports events to be done in Kuwait. And as soon as we finished from our first project, we started getting phone calls from different clients who have never been involved in gaming. Because that client is a market leader, they wanted to jump on board. They wanted to be part of creating something in gaming, something to do with esports. They didn't know what it was, they don't know what it is, and they just want to be involved. And they're willing to spend money. But what we do is we take that energy from them and we try to build longevity in their plans. We try to not force them, but present to them ideas that will take them that won't just give the public one event or one activation, but it will go on for a specific amount of time, which will gain traction, will have more engagement with the players, will have more opportunities to which takes us to how can we make their experience better. So it's very important to create channels with the publishers, create communication channels with the publishers from the big names. And the reason we feel that this is important is because before we stepped into the market, we realized that many tournament organizers who aren't proper companies, they're a group of friends who just organize tournaments, will have a FIFA tournament, and they'll slap EA Sports logo, they'll slap the FIFA logo, the artwork, and say we're having a FIFA tournament, and people will come sign up and play. But that creates a negative impact on people like us, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to build relationships with these developers and publishers for the reason of possibly in the future potentially having a global series come into this part of the world, played in this part of the world, and that will give the players participating in such a tournament a pedigree, because they're actually part of an official licensed tournament that is going to rank them or take them a step forward towards participating in the FIFA eWorld Cup, which is most of what FIFA players in this part of the world want right now. Technology. I'm emphasizing on technology with 3 exclamation marks because it's very important. And we noticed our first experience with online gameplay, and this is directly related to the players, was we had a tournament of 3 weeks. 3 weekends. Each weekend was a different tournament, played online. Everything is done online. We launched it. We were happy. First week, 20 players. We tried to figure out why. We had over 1,000 registrations, but we had only 20 players. So for week 2, we dumbed it down a little, and we introduced a simplified how-to video. And it didn't jump that much. It went up to around 70 players. And then we said, okay, we're going to have to spoon feed them all the information. So we actually created a how-to video that was, you put your first name here, last name here, your mobile number, your email, step-by-step process of the entire process, which led to a jump from 70 to over 300 names participating in the online gameplay. The reason this happened is because it wasn't a truly localized platform. It was a platform that was created in English and translated to Arabic. So it wasn't natural. It wasn't easy for them to use. And to achieve such success, because online gameplay is something very important in esports as well, we need to find a way to truly localize online gaming platforms. And the second point here, if you're not from this region, you might find it to be weird, is using technology to eradicate hasty behavior in the public. The competitors, the players themselves. Many of the people from the GCC especially feel like they're entitled as individuals, and they don't really care for authority much. So if we inform someone that they're going to be playing at 4 p.m., they'll arrive at 4:30 and tell us, yeah, my game's at 4, but it's 4:30, you can't play. No, but I want to play. I left my house, I came, That's the kind of behavior that kills us as organizers, and we can't really do much about it other than emphasize on terms and conditions, send them back to the website. So that kind of technology will help us educate the people that are our clients and customers about how they can be better at doing this. Introducing technologies to create a better viewing experience, which is a great segue into streaming and broadcasting. It's not very big in gaming in this region, and we believe that we can make use of the channels and resources that are available to us through the social media influencers that are very popular in this part of the world, and especially with gaming. You have a lot of gaming influencers that are popping up, and those are the kind of people that can attract the clientele and the people who will come in to watch esports, because at the end of the day, it's a spectator sport. You want people to achieve success. You need people to come in and watch, and we can capitalize on the entertainment aspect of the streaming using these social media influencers, people who are known in the industry of gaming, the known faces. And that being said, thank you guys very much for being here. It's the last day of the conference, last sessions of the conference. From our experience, it's usually empty, but It had more people than expected. So thank you very much for being here. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Good on time.
Questions? Yeah. If anybody starts. Yeah.
Sure.
Do you find people that are young streamers that they are really good in this game, but they are not used to the community? Like
What we do is,
teams like around them, no funds, no anything.
what we do is when we work with players and we see someone that's talented, we don't personally work with them directly, but what we do is we link them with the correct people, and this is a methodology we use in the way we do our business. We find the best talent in many different industries or many different areas that complement the esports industry, and we have them all involved with what we do. So we work with people who are in talent management and people who can help you basically proceed. So afterwards, please, I'll share my contact with you, and if you're interested, we can link you up to someone that can do it for you. Right? Any other questions? Sure.
My question is about, I assume that in this region there is not a history of watching computer games. It's one of the struggles that you need to overcome.
Yes.
And doesn't it make sense then to focus on a game that has a direct connection to real life, like FIFA or very similar game, where you can motivate conventional people that watch normal sports to transfer it to watching FIFA, rather than making someone watching sport watch Counter-Strike?
Yes. In this specific example, FIFA, we don't have a proper football culture. We don't have proper football teams, football leagues in this part of the world, which is why FIFA is popular and a lot of people play FIFA. And we also realize that FIFA is one of the main games that is watched, or main games that are streamed. And because of the lack of the proper infrastructure for watching sports and sports being traditional sports, we believe that pushing games like FIFA that are popular, that are more mainstream, can actually attract people and create the culture of streaming esports. I hope I answered that question. Anyone else? Thank you guys for your time.